Okay, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. I'm your host and the only participant, Michael Pachter. We're going to take some questions today, take a question today, and we're going to keep doing this for a while. So keep them coming in. You can submit them on Twitter to me at Michael Pachter, or you can submit them to at SIFTD Games, and we're on SIFTD.net. If you're watching on SIFTD.net because you're a Patreon patron, thank you so much for your patronage. If you're watching on Twitch as a Twitch Prime member, that's free and you're getting it on time. If you're watching it on YouTube a week late, then that's because you're not paying anything. But obviously you can subscribe on YouTube, you can subscribe through Patreon, or you can pay nothing and link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. So try to do one of those things if you can afford it, or if your Prime member is free, and you'll get this content pretty soon thereafter. Let's get to today's question. From Patreon, from Sir Doug Ratman. Any idea which company PlayStation will buy next? It made it sound like there's multiple deals still in the works, and EA has been strongly rumored. If it has the means, would it make sense since it wants to get into multiplayer and live service games like Apex Legends? You think this will happen? What are Sony's most likely targets? You know, I don't think Sony has the money. Microsoft has Microsoft's paying all cash for Activision. So they had $70 billion laying around. I mean, Sony would have to borrow money. Second, it's trickier buying a company that has sports licenses. And it's funny, I talked to Microsoft about this and they gave me seriously the dumbest answer I've ever heard to a question. They're like, why would the sports leagues bail on their license with us? It would take them 3 years to get a game up from a competitor and then it wouldn't be good. And I'm like, yeah, but how about if they just convert your license to non-exclusive? So your FIFA license is now non-exclusive, and Take-Two in 3 years has a FIFA game. You know, what are you going to do? You're going to walk? So I think that part of the appeal of buying EA is that you get FIFA and Madden and NHL, and those at a minimum become non-exclusive if Sony buys them. Sony would have the same Justice Department issues, FTC issues that Microsoft has, would have to keep making it for Xbox. Sony doesn't have a subscription service that works. So, you know, I think PlayStation now has 5 subscribers? They don't have 25 million. They just don't have the content. So what Microsoft did in buying Activision is like Disney buying Fox. And think about Netflix before Disney Plus came out. Netflix was one of 2 streaming services that was out there competing for content. The other was Amazon Prime. And pretty much if you were, Sony Pictures or NBC Universal or Viacom CBS or Disney or Fox, the big studios, MGM, you licensed your content to either Amazon Prime Video or to Netflix. If you want to make money, extra money, license to them. And I'm talking old content, Seinfeld, just old stuff, The Office. And what Disney decided was, we're going to build this new streaming service, Disney Plus, and we're going to buy Fox. And now Disney and Fox content, subject to contractual restrictions, will only appear on Disney Plus. And I'm telling you now, there is no Fox content on Netflix. Please don't post on Twitter, here I found a show that was subject to an old contract. The Simpsons is not on Netflix and won't be ever again as long as we live. It's on Disney Plus. So the idea was they bought Fox and they respected all the other windows. So Fox movies still come out in movie theaters. They still come out on DVD. They're still pay-per-view, video on demand on your cable system, so they're still distributed the same way they were. They still get sold into syndication, for TV 10 years later. But streaming, only on Disney Plus. Sony doesn't have the content to pull that off. They don't have the critical mass. So if they bought EA and said, EA content's only going to be on PlayStation now. Well, first of all, EA has a contract with Microsoft for catalog content, so that would be hard. And Microsoft's not stupid. That is not a year-to-year contract, turnable at will. It's probably a 10-year contract. So I would say EA is off the table for Sony. Ubisoft, maybe. Not a lot of sports content, but their games aren't that great, and they don't come out very frequently. They have about 3 or 4 games a year. Maybe. Take-Two makes even fewer games, and the one that comes out every year, NBA. So same sports license issues. The other one that comes out every year, WWE, has been really bad the last couple of years. So, I don't really think anybody's in play, but I could see Sony buying Capcom or Sega or Square Enix or some other Japanese or Korean or Asian-based company who is kind of hurting and could use the extra cash. And if Sony started a streaming service in Japan with, Japanese content, would probably work pretty quickly, get a, critical mass, and then export it to other countries. So I'd say Square Enix. I don't cover any of these guys, so I don't know which ones need the money the most. But I'd say Square Enix, Namco Bandai, Capcom, those guys, Konami, they're the most likely to be in play from Sony. I don't think you should assume that because there's one acquisition that there'll be a feeding frenzy and everybody else will go away. And a lot of people assume that because Take-Two bought Zynga and then a week later EA bought Activision that there's this feeding frenzy. Those are different acquisitions. Take-Two decided they want to be in mobile. I personally think Strauss Zelnick, who's turning 65 on June 26th this year, I wish him happy birthday. I think he'd like to step up to executive chairman and work less and make more, and I think he did an acqui-hire, and I think Frank Chabot will be a great CEO of Take-Two. So I think part of that is you're getting good management with the Zynga acquisition, but that's not why Activision was bought by Microsoft. Phil Spencer is not going to put Bobby Kotick in his job. Anyway, so I don't think Sony's buying anybody. The answer, though, to your question is I would look at every Sony first-party title. I would look at the studios that make them that aren't yet owned by Sony. And I don't even know if there are any left, but they've been systematically buying up every single one of those guys. So they bought Polyphony Digital in the 90s that makes Gran Turismo. They bought Naughty Dog in the 2000s that makes Last of Us and Uncharted. And then since then it's been, Guerrilla and Insomniac and Sucker Punch. And I think there's one more. But if you find any Sony exclusives that I didn't name that are made by an independent third-party studio, that's the one. That's my answer. Whoever that is, that's the next Sony acquisition, because that is a formula that works for them and is really smart, and they get to know the studio well. So take a look at first-party exclusives and made by third parties, and that's who Sony's going to buy. But I couldn't name one yet because I don't know. And yes, I know they want to get in multiplayer and live service games like Apex Legends. Don't we all? Probably not happening anytime soon. Thanks for joining us on Pachter Factor. I gave you a long answer. Hope to see you next time. But between now and the next Pachter Factor, sign up, on Patreon as a patron, or link your Twitch Prime account to your Amazon Prime account, please. That's free. Or subscribe to us on YouTube. Or none of the above. Get this stuff a week late. Follow me on Twitter @Michael Pachter. I'll see you next time.